All right, 201. It looks like we have quite a few of us here. I see my screen.
We can see it.
Okay.
You've got a little meeting reminder on the screen though too.
Oh, thank you, Anna. I have
Mhm.
three screens going, so you're gonna have to bear with me today. All right, let's see here. All right, we'd like to welcome everybody here today to our October CPA Learning and Lesson. My name is Marge Trudnowski. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a technical assistant coordinator with the workforce development team. And this afternoon, I am covering for Anshel and will be your meeting facilitator. We hope you will find this meeting to be a support for all of you as we share different updates with the transition to Binti. This is a really friendly group, and we hope you'll feel comfortable interacting with us throughout the meeting. So the agenda for today is, first of all, we will hear from Tara Lane, Head of Account Management with Binti, and Victoria Danby, who's also an account manager for Binti. We will hear from Matt and Renata, an update with the portal overview and highlights. Debbie O'Neill will give us a training update and updates on communication needs, and then we will wrap it up for a listening and discussion at the end. So before we begin, I want to share a few quick housekeeping notes. So I think most of us know by now to keep yourself on mute if you're not speaking so we can limit the background noise. Second, we really encourage you to use emojis if you hear something during the next hour that really resonates with you. And finally, if you have a question, to share it in the chat. Please make sure it goes to everybody. What we do is we keep track of all the questions and comments, and that will help us capture it all. So this afternoon, we have a core group of people who are working behind the scenes on this call to help support you all. This includes Debbie, who will be monitoring the chat and helping to lift some of your questions. If we can't answer them in the next hour, we will make sure to follow up with more information after the meeting. We also have Ana Enriquez, who is also with the workforce development team, who will be our note taker this afternoon. So before we get rolling, we like to start our meetings with a little icebreaker, and we'd like to see who is here today. So if you could put in the chat box your name and agency and one fall activity that you're really looking forward to. And Debbie, if you could manage that for me, because I cannot see the chat box.
Yes, I sure will.
Thank you.
All right, we're getting some great feedback, Marge, in the chat box. It's all things fall, of course. Lots of pumpkin carving, pumpkin festivals, cookie making. Victoria, we might come to your house for that if you're making cookies all the time. Loving to wear sweatshirts and hoodies. Football games, of course.
Yeah.
Cozy movie nights. Lots of fall activities.
And we hope everybody's staying safe. I don't know about what's going on the east side of the state, but over here on the west side of the mountains, it has been a blustery couple days. Just an FYI, my power keeps flickering, so if I go down, Debbie's picking up the show. All right, just to remind everybody, thank you for sharing, and this meeting is being recorded. So next, we'd like to start with our agenda, and I will turn it over to Tara and Victoria, who's with Binti, and we'd like to give you a big shout out and a warm welcome from our CPA group here in Washington. Are they here?
Thank you so much. And we are both
There
here.
you.
I'm sorry, I was having to unmute myself. It was taking me a second there. I just wanted to say hello. Victoria is actually going to be speaking mostly today and doing a bit of a presentation. But I'm head of account management and I have been leading the project on the Binti side and just wanted to say hello and how much we have enjoyed working with everyone in Washington that we've met so far. So really looking forward to meeting and working with all of you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tara. Hi there, everyone. I'm Victoria. Just give me a little nod if you can hear me okay. Looks like a yes. Awesome. Okay. So I am also an account manager over here at Binti, and I have been here almost 4 years. And like many of you here, I am a social worker also. I did social work in my home state of California for about 18 years. And today I am very happy to show you a demonstration of what Binti will look like for your families and also for you. We're not going to go into like a deep dive training, you guys. This is going to be a pretty high level demo. And what we want to do is just give you an idea of what to expect for your families and for yourselves. I would ask that you hold questions until the very end. There will be some time at the end of this meeting for questions and answers. You can also put questions into chat. That way we can capture them in case you're afraid you might forget your question. And I am ready to kick that off. Are we ready for that?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. So I'm going to share my screen. Give me
We'll
1
start.
second. All right, you guys, you should be seeing my screen, and I have up here Skookum Kids. And you guys, I picked one of the child placing agencies at random here, and Skookum Kids was the lucky choice. So you guys, a little bit about Binti. So your families will be able to sign in, create an application, begin an application portal, and access all of the requirements that are needed for them to complete that process. We will be doing this for each of the child placing agencies, so there will be some customization per each agency. I'm going to point out the pages that have that customization, and there will be other places where things are already set the way that has been decided by Washington. So as we get started, all of your families will be able to sign up on a sign up page. You guys, we've got a code thing happening here today, so just please ignore that. I'm aware of that and it's going away later today. So all of you will be able to customize, of course, the name of your agency portal here. We'll have your logo out here. In this sign up page, this URL, when you guys are live, we are going to send you this URL. And you are welcome to give that to your IT team and have them embed it somewhere on your web page. So like here's the public website for this agency, and perhaps they could put a button out here that says, you know, I'm motivated and I'm ready to get started and I just want to sign up now. And that could be like a click here to start your application button. So once families get started, we're going to go ahead and add the information that's needed to create that account. So we're just going to create a fake person here. Pop in an email for that person. We're going to give your families a clue to create strong passcodes. And if your password doesn't match, we're going to tell you that. So let's try that again. There we go. We'll ask applicants their phone number. If it is a 2-applicant home, we're going to ask for the information of that second person, you guys. This will change forms a little bit so that second applicants need to answer questions and also electronically sign where required. They'll say how they learned about your agency, so we'll collect some high-level information. A bunch of these have additional drill downs, so perhaps they learned about you from another foster parent. They could drill down to say that and put the name of the other foster parent that they heard about you from. Moving on to the next page, we're going to give your families an opportunity to self-identify their ethnicity information. We're going over there. If families do not want to self-identify, that's okay. There is an option for them to say that they prefer not to answer. They can also say if they're a member of a tribe. We do have all the tribes already preloaded here. So if they just start typing, those tribe names are going to come up. So you guys, once they've created that account, they will land on a page that looks like this one. And I'm going to switch views just a little bit, you guys, so that I can navigate around a little bit better here. So I'm going to come on over to this screen. All right, you guys, so this is a good place to pay attention because this is one of those pages that's customizable for each child placing agency. So when we work on the rollout of launching each of you, we will give you the opportunity to have a week or two to decide what will happen or what will be said on this page. And you'll customize the message out here. And of course, any links to emails or websites or specific phone numbers or specific people, we can add that information as well. Once families get past this welcome stage, they'll move into an orientation stage. This is, of course, a sample. And this is dependent on what the orientation is for your agency. So if you have families attend an orientation, you're going to want to tell them that, how to access that, or join or RSVP. You guys, if you have your orientation on YouTube or like a video or maybe a PowerPoint slide, you can send that to us as well, and we will embed that information here. In this particular example, we have a hard-coded stop here for your families, so they can't get past here and access all of their forms until they watch this orientation and you give them a passcode. And the passcode's not required, you guys. We can eliminate that if that's not needed for your agency. But once the correct passcode is entered, families will be able to move on. The next stage we see here is this training registration. This is another page that's customizable for each of the child placing agencies. So whatever you want your families to know regarding training would go here. So there's a little example up there for you. These blue links here are hyperlinks. So if I want to go on over to Alliance, I can just click here and it will take me there. If I want to register for this CPR training, I can click here and it will take me to where I need to go. Then after that, your families will move on to application forms. And you guys, the application forms and conditional requirements, the items that you see listed here, those have been predetermined by DCYF. So no changes here. What you see here is what will be in each of your templates. When it's time for your families to complete each of these forms, they will simply click the title of the form. They will answer questions that are part of that form. On this first form, when they enter their demographics, like their name, in a moment they have an opportunity to answer their address. Once those demographics are entered, we won't ask them to retype those on subsequent forms. They'll just auto-populate so that folks don't have to retype their name and address. We can see we made a little bit of progress here on that form. Because I'm in a testing site, I can fill it in with pretend data. Of course, your families don't have pretend data buttons. And once a form is completely signed, your families will electronically sign the document. So here's that application. It has put in all of the information that your family's typed. You guys, in our sample today, it just looks like kind of gobbledygook, but that's just because I used my sample data button. Don't worry, it'll look like real information that they typed. We'll save our signature and we'll place it where it belongs. And once that's complete, your families will see that nice green circle, so they know this is completely done and ready to go. You guys, I'm signed up as a single applicant. If there were 2 applicants, there would have been a second signature button here. You guys, I'm not going to open all of these, but you get the idea. There's a variety of forms for them to fill out. As I scoot down a little lower, I see a place where your families will upload supporting documents. So these are not forms they fill out, but rather copies of documents that you need. So they'll be able to click into each of these areas. If they have a scanner at home, they could scan in their ID and upload that copy here. More than likely, they're just going to take a picture on their phone and upload from their phone. They can also access this entire application process on their phone or their tablet. Some of these items that are uploaded, such as a driver's license, will have a place for your families to enter their expiration date. So when they upload the document here, Binti will ask, what's the expiration date? Let's find one here. So you guys, I just dragged and dropped a pretend document over here. And as soon as I did that, I got an expiration field popping up for me. We will remind your families when documents expire. We send them automatic alerts 60 days and again at 30 days prior to the expiration date. All right, you guys, I'm going to keep on going. I'm moving quickly so you can see a little bit of everything. So I scoot down more. I see that your families will also indicate who else lives in the home. So if the grandmother lives there or the cousin, your families will be able to enter their first name, middle name, last name, email, phone number, etc. Scooting down, your families will also indicate if there are bio children or adopted children living in the home. Maybe they're taking care of their nephew or something for the summer. When children living in the home are added, it does change some of the requirements on this screen because perhaps additional documentation is needed pertaining to these children. If I scoot down even further, I see that your families will indicate who their personal references are. So you guys, for both the personal references and for the other adults in the home, when your family indicates that person's email address, we email them and they get an email saying that they've been listed as either another adult in the home or a reference in the home, and that they also have requirements. And they have a link to click and complete those requirements electronically. Once those requirements are completed, you as the social worker, you will have access immediately to those completed items. Your family, the applicant, they won't have access. They will, however, know that they're done because they're going to get an email, and there's actually like a little alert over here on the left side telling them that that's been completed. All right, you guys, so we're right here on what we call stage 4. It's the 4th bubble. And it has virtually everything, but we do have this 5th stage called conditional requirements. Hop on over there. We can see that these things are only needed if the home study specialist requires them. So families will be able to come to this page and add these possible additional things if you all are requesting them. All right, so you guys, just a tiny bit of a recap here. This welcome message, information about your orientation and training. You guys should start thinking now about what you might want to say on those pages, because we will customize those pages for each of you. The forms and the requirements, those decisions have already been made, so you don't need to spend time worrying about those things. All right, you guys, I'm going to keep on going, and we're going to switch over to the agency side. So we're going to look at the things that you as social workers will see. Okay, actually, I'm going to go back to this home screen page. All right, you guys, I am now logged in as a CPA worker. Here I am, Victoria CPA worker. And this is my homepage. And this is what all of you will see when you log into Binti on your side. So it's really different than what the family sees, right? The family sees like an outline of the required forms and documents. You get this like bigger dashboard that's going to show you all of your families. So on this welcome homepage, I see a little snapshot of the families I'm working with. These are hyperlinks if I want to see those 7 families. I get some clues about families who've already signed their application. And if they've signed it a long time ago, Binti will clue you into that because we know that there are timelines to meet. If I scoot down a little bit further, I can see if I have families in that relicensure process, that renewal process, as Binti calls it. This is also a place where we're going to give you clues if a document is expiring, like an ID or an auto insurance type of thing. And again, hyperlinked. Over on our main application dashboard, this is your big hangout area. This is where you're going to see your families coming through the process. You guys, there is a lot to talk about here. I'm not going to talk about it all. We're just going to hit a few highlights. And when it comes time for you all to launch and go live, we will spend a good hour and a half together training you on everything that you see on this page and how to actually complete things. The highlights for today are that you will control the status that your families are in. So if I hop over to this recruiting tab, we're going to see Halle Berry here, who we just signed up a moment ago. So the moment we signed her up, she appeared here. She was also auto-assigned to a few workers. And when that auto-assignment happened, these workers got emails saying, you have a new family assigned to you. We can see she signed herself up because she's in this nice recruiting area. At some point, when I want to change her status, I will, and I'll move her into this applying bucket because maybe she has signed her application. She's rolling along on paperwork. She went to some training. And here on this applying status, I'll start tracking how much work is happening with these families. So you can see those percentages are going to move up as the families get things done, especially their own forms and their own documents. When references come in, you're going to start seeing, 1/2 means there's 1 out of 2 references. When something is completely done, you're going to see this green circle. One day you'll come into the office, log in, and like the entire row for somebody will be green. You're going to feel really excited about that because it's time to get that person approved. My dog's going crazy. You can probably hear her. Okay, you guys, so to do things though, I am going to show you 2 areas. You'll come over to this action drop down. Let's hop over into documents first. You guys, the document page, this is like your case file. So right now, when you want to see all of the forms for a family, you open up your case file. In Binti, you open up the document page. So you'll come here. If the family completed this application online, you're going to see the hyperlink. And to look at it, you're just going to click on the hyperlink. There's that application form. If you have families who are not online, You guys, you are still going to have them here in your Binti because you want to track all your families in one spot. And if they should hand you a paper document, you're simply going to scan that in and upload it. So I scoot down a little bit further. I can see all those supporting documents that my family also uploaded on their side. Again, those hyperlinks. So I can click and open to see them. I keep on moving down. I'm going to see a bunch of agency forms. These are the forms that you all will be able to fill in. You'll be able to complete them here in Binti. If I keep on going even further, when those references come back, we're going to see that reference section. And then everybody has a miscellaneous bucket in case there's something else needs to go here. All right, you guys, I'm going to back out of this and go back to my home screen. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that all of your forms will live here and all of the family's forms will live here, really easy to find. And the other page I'm going to point out for just today is this edit page. Edit is a really busy page. I just want you to be aware that this is where you'll be able to make updates such as updates to phone numbers, emails. You'll be able to drill down on the languages for the family. Maybe they didn't answer that ethnicity question and you're wanting to fill it in. Number of applicants. So you guys, if it turns out a family has 2 applicants and they only originally signed up as 1, you will be able to fix that. And then here's the assignment field, which is the real reason I wanted to come into this page. So you guys, these first assignment fields, these are Washington staff. This is you down here, partner, agency, worker. You all are considered partner agencies according to Binti. And you will be able to put your assigned workers here. When you put the name of a worker here.
Hi, this is Nancy. Hey, Nancy.
You guys, we got some folks that need to be on mute.
Get taken care of?
Just check your
Thank you,
mute button.
Victoria. Sorry.
So you guys, you will be able to assign workers here. When you assign workers, that worker does get a direct email alerting them that they have a new family assigned to them. You will also on this page be able to let your system know if there's a child tied to this family or not. If they're a relative applying for a specific child, you're going to be able to say that. And if a child is actually already in the home because of an emergency placement, you'll be able to say that also, and you'll have some clues here if that's the case. Okay, so you guys, I know that is like the super high level and fast look here at what you see and what families see. I don't want to take up too much time because I know there's questions to be had. Don't worry, we will all be looking at this together in more detail and more slowly. The plan is that all CPAs for Washington will roll out around September of next year. And I am going to check my notes and see if there's anything else we want to make sure we cover. Yeah, you guys, let me say one more thing, which is that each of you, when you log into your dashboards, you will see only your families. So only the families belonging to your agency. When Washington logs in, they can see all families at all agencies, and they can filter down and things like that. So just an FYI there. All right, I am going to hand it back to our leaders here and let you take it from here.
Marge, we do have a couple of questions in the chat box. So maybe we can have somebody fill the answers on these. I don't know if you saw those, but I can read a couple of them out loud and somebody can raise their hand to answer. So one of the questions that came in, can agencies add any additional forms into Binti?
That's a great question, you guys. There's been some conversation about that. And right now, the answer is that Washington has made a decision about the forms that are available. So at the moment, the application forms and additional requirements, that determination has already been made.
I'd just like to add that if you have forms that you want your applicants to fill out, they will not be in Binti, but you could, on that welcome page, you could have links to the form. They could download, they could go to your website to download the form, and they could turn it into you in paper or email, and you could keep that outside of Binti. But the Binti documents are the ones that the state requires, not the ones that your CPA require.
Thanks, Renata. All right, I have another question here. How easy will it be to alter information on these pages, the welcome, orientation, and training pages, as agencies are updating their communication information?
Yeah, excellent question. It's not hard to update the welcome, orientation, and training pages. What we do recommend is that that you be a bit general with the information there. So if your trainings are Tuesdays at 5:30, but you think that's going to change next month, you might just say trainings are held weekly. To RSVP, call us at this number. But it can be updated quite easily and quickly.
Thank you, Victoria. I have another one here. Will references be automatically sent to each of the named references?
Yes. So if your applicant listed the reference and included their email, then those reference folks are emailed with the reference form, and they complete that electronically. You guys, I didn't show you, but if your applicant doesn't complete the references email, there is a way for you to add it as the worker on your side so that that reference is electronically sent out.
Great, thank you, Victoria. I have another one here. Is there still a plan to progressively roll these out to agencies, or will this be available to all CPAs at once? And I might have maybe Ruben, Renata, Matt. You guys want to talk about the CPA rollout?
Sure, no problem. Thanks, Debbie. And good afternoon, everyone. Ruben Reeves. Good to see everyone. So, Josh, the plan is to roll these out in a cohort. So not everyone at once starting September will have the ability to use Binti to certify their family. So we haven't ironed out those details yet. There will be kind of a slow rollout, though, starting in September as far as going live.
Thank you, Ruben. I have another one here. Can a CPA alter the reminder timelines or remove the automatic drip reminder emails?
Fancy question coming in here from Brett, who must know some more things. So you guys, the automatic email that goes out for expiring documents, so like if your ID is expiring, there are automatic emails at 60 and 30 days, that's set. So no altering there. Each CPA can have something we call a drip email, which are reminder emails we can set up custom to your specific agency that just prompt families to hop into their application to complete their maybe their renewal requirements. You guys, I didn't mention renewal requirements, but your families will have a portal that also has renewal documents or relicensure documents. And so we can set up drip emails that say something like, it's 30 days before your license expires or time to become relicensed. Please hop into Binti and complete requirements. So that type of email, like the message, can be changed depending on what your agency wants to change to say, and the timeline is dependent on what you want. So it could go out 30 days ahead, 45 days ahead, etc. Or if you don't want it to go at all, that's also okay.
Thank you, Victoria. And Ruben, I might call on you to answer this one. Will all files be online with no paper copies kept?
So Suzanne, that is the plan, hopefully, to have no hard files or copy files. Again, haven't really, on the state side, I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I think the hope is to not have any more paper copies once we go live with Binti.
I'm seeing some emoji responses there saying, yay. I do not see other questions in the chat box. So, oh, we do have one more.
Debbie, can I just add one thing? We also realize not all families will use the portal or use Binti, right? We also realize some families will continue doing paper. So we'll have to see what that looks like. You know, for those families that continue doing paper, we would upload that paper into Binti, but they wouldn't be inputting their information in. So we'll also have to map that out and see how that goes.
And you guys, I'll add one other item, which is that for your families who do everything electronically, and you as well, if you're completing electronically, once everything is done, like the file, that document page has everything, Binti does have a button that just says, you know, print a PDF of this entire file. You can just click the print once and it'll all print out for you. Or you can print things individually. But ideally, we're saving trees, right?
And just want to remind folks that I think our next meeting will be in January. So Nicole, you had asked before about the rules on, you know, public disclosure and discovery with information in Binti. So we will have some subject matter experts in future meetings to talk about that.
Is that it, Debbie?
We had just one more. I think it's clarification on the paper files. So Ruben, to your point, the goal is to have everything electronically, but CPAs can certainly have a paper file if that's what they want to do from their end. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, private agencies can absolutely continue if they want to do that. That's completely up to them.
Great, thank you. Marge, that is all I see in the chat box for now.
Rich conversations. Thank you, Victoria. So I just want to pause for a moment. This is a lot that we've just seen. And we've heard some of your questions. If you have more, please keep dropping them in the chat box throughout the meeting. And maybe we can get to some of them at the end. And if not, then we will gather all of them and get them back out to you. So I think next we have here Matt and Renata. You are up next to give us an update on the portal.
Hello, everyone again. I'm Renata. I'm a customer support specialist working with the rollout of Binti. And one of the questions that we keep getting over and over and over is, how are we going to support our families who don't have internet access or who have limited tech abilities? So I know that I have my own ideas. Everybody, we've been tossing ideas around for a while. But I think that if we take some time to talk about what strategies we have been using during COVID to help families email us things or get things to us that you know, that we've had to do without seeing each other face to face. I was hoping that CPAs could tell us how they've been doing that. And then and then I can let you guys know kind of what our ideas are and our strategies are, but I would love to hear from the folks here about how they've been handling working with families who, you know, struggle with connectivity. I know I just threw you all under the bus there, but are there any licensors who have been working with families who wouldn't mind either putting in the chat or popping off their mute?
This is Angela Yautzi with Olive Crest, and I know particularly in COVID when just things were difficult, we have had families, we're rural, we're out here in Kitsap, Mason County, and we had families who just didn't have connectivity because they couldn't get consistent connectivity. And so, you know, we have just obliged and acknowledged that with mailing forms, with keeping paper files. Even in COVID, I mean, we had to do a few of those interviews in person, you know, to get people through the process just because we couldn't have a Zoom connection. We couldn't do those things. So whether it was meeting outside or using masks and you know, COVID and connectivity kind of played into that hand in hand. But just being creative with it and good communication with our licensor, you know, so that they were understanding maybe some delays that were coming, you know, due to that, and really working with families to accommodate and go with what I like to refer to as old school and the way I used to do things by mail.
And that certainly is an option. People can still fill out paper copies and have them uploaded into the system. It's sure easier if they don't, but you know, we have to meet our families where they're at, and for some of our families, that will be the solution. Has anyone had success, any successes moving folks towards using the internet who maybe at the beginning of the pandemic were not willing to, but now are?
When we moved to, this was when I worked in HR, but it's kind of relevant. When we moved to online applications, which we had a lot of people in the community who weren't, you know, computer savvy. So we set up 2 computers in our office to where community members could come in, and we would sit down with them and teach them how to use the online system to submit their application. I know it's a different scenario, but that's what we did. I'm with the Puyallup tribe, and I was with the Puyallup tribe when that occurred as well. And I was going to ask also if there were any resources we could refer people to maybe help them get computer savvy. I know the only one I know of is Goodwill Industries. I know they offer some resources to help people sharpen up on computer skills.
I don't know any off the top of my head, but could we make a note that, you know, if anybody knows about resources, to please send it to us, and if we find any resources, we'll be sure to share it with you all as well. I know that Binti did note that anybody with a smartphone can use their phone to access this system. So a lot of people who might not have a computer, it may seem inaccessible, like to think about getting a computer to sit down and sign, you know, a PDF of something. I find that when I've been practicing in the sandbox, it's actually much easier than what we're currently doing, where we're emailing forms and asking people to print them out and sign them and send them back. Being able to sign right there on their computer screen, or I mean, you know, smartphone screen. There are some comments in the chat. Victoria was saying that she was just typing the same idea. In-office laptops and computers that families can use for the application process is an option. Matt mentioned that some senior centers around the state offer some computer courses that are open to all, usually free. Kathy said that here in Chelan County, our library has several computers that folks in the community can use. And additionally, the Employment Security offers some free online computer classes. And I was also going to mention the public library system. You know, if COVID allows them to be open, then folks can go in there. I think that on the state side, we've talked to our workers about the possibility of when you're meeting with a family, allowing them to log in from the, from the work, tablet, sitting with them while they're filling out the forms online, which isn't much different than sitting down with our families and helping them fill out the paper forms, which I know that many of us have done before. Any other comments?
Renata, can I hop back in? Sorry, I don't see like a raise hand button on here. You guys, the other thing to know that I should have mentioned is that Binti does have online support for you and your families. So there is a live chat feature that you and your families can access Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. And we will help your families who maybe need a little bit of support with the tech side of things. Of course, we're not going to answer their question about like, when is a child going to be placed in my home? Don't worry, we won't overstep our bounds there, but we will certainly support them with their tech needs.
And then the Alliance will also have an e-learning for Binti coming out. Matt or Ruben, did you have anything to add, or are there any other licensors that want to recommend any ideas that they have?
That's already has been mentioned, Renata. I know that there was someone, I think it's one of our admin support team, had suggested, having a couple of kiosks, in our state offices to assist caregivers in using the electronic system. So maybe look into that as well.
Any other questions?
Marge, just one more question here from Suzanne. Wondering if there is a predetermined list of the documents that CPAs can get a hold of, if we would be able to share that list with them. And that might be a Matt or Renata question. Or Ruben.
Yeah, we did ask for volunteers, I believe at last month's meeting, to have CPAs review some of the forms. I've got names of folks who are going to do that, and we will start that probably next month. We do have some testing coming up. As far as an actual list of the forms, I think that we would be able to provide that to the CPAs by the next meeting.
Well, and Renata, if you have the list, we can actually, as part of the wrap up to this meeting, we can actually send that out and put it out on the CPA website as part of our package for this meeting. So we'll coordinate on that.
Great.
Thanks, Renata. So Debbie, let's move on to you. You're going to give a training update. You're a busy girl today.
Lots of great things in the chat box. So yeah, I got all into the fall thing with the pumpkin and the cookies. So appreciated everybody sharing just kind of what they're doing this season. Real quick training update for those of you who have not been on, just to make sure you know where we're going here in the future when the portal's ready to get up and run. We will do our training partnering with all of you at our tables. So we will have a regional approach to training. First phase will be all about the portal itself, the functionality, and then we'll drill down a little bit to program specific needs. And before we get to the portal piece, I want everyone to know, if you've been on these meetings, you heard a lot about home study, the tiered home study framework, got kind of an overview from Amber and Sonia, and we will be diving in real deep with that with all of you as we train our staff. So we will be doing that at a regional perspective throughout the state and wanting to learn along with you. So we have the home study tiered framework, and then the portal functionality and program specific needs that we will do as soon as this portal is ready to be up and running. So that involves all of our staff, all foster care staff, SAM staff, and all CPAs. So we're excited to join and be at the table with you to learn as we go. And we'll have some great group activities and discussion as we learn a new system, and also some great things about philosophy and concepts of the home study and permanency, and some really great time together. So appreciate you joining us for that. We will communicate schedules out as soon as we know when that gets closer to make sure we can meet everybody's needs. We will also have the ability to, if you can't make a certain session, especially who knows how we'll be training in 2022. I would love to be in person with you. But we can also swap regions if you're not available for your regional time. What can we do to cross the neighborhood there and see what we can do to get you in another region? So we'll make sure we have some flexibility for time and attendance at all of those. And just going on to the communication real briefly, and you heard earlier, we have the CPA website. So all of our meeting notes, FAQs, recordings are on the website. We try to get those updated as quickly as we can. So if you can't make it, you can certainly go back and refer. And if you did make it and you want to take a look at what happened again or re-listen to something, you can certainly go in there and get it, or pass along to those that you know that may not have been able to be present with us here today. And just a quick reminder, Ruben mentioned it, we will not be having meetings in November and December. That doesn't mean you won't hear from us. We'll be still sending out some messages and communicating with you to keep those connections. But our next monthly CPA meeting will be in January. Again, we'll stick to that last Monday of the month, and we'll give you the heads up with that and with the agenda of what's going to be kind of the promo and some highlights for you, so you know what part of the session to attend. So we're excited to continue those meetings, and just knowing how the holiday months are, we're going to take a pause for November and December, but we'll keep you updated on things happening with the portal. And I'm just going to pause there, see if anybody has any questions before we pass it back to Marge.
Thank you, Debbie. So this is a time to, if you have any questions for anybody who presented today, get them in the chat box. And if we can't get to them, we have 5 minutes left this afternoon, but we will get them out to you via the Q&A. So make sure you get them in there, and so we can help get a lot of our questions answered. So to wrap up, we want to thank you all for joining us today. It was a great meeting. It was so nice to hear from the Binti folks, Victoria, and I'm really excited. It's really fun to see from a caregiver's perspective and a CPA's perspective on what this is going to look like. So good things are yet to come. Anyway, just a reminder, like Debbie and Ruben said, we're off for November, December, and we are moving to bi-monthly meetings based off your feedback that we heard in September. But we will be communicating with you all along if there's information that you need to know, and we can move them back up to monthly if you all want to meet monthly, especially as we get closer to the launch date for our CPAs. Our next meeting will be January 31st, 2022, which, wow, Where did 2021 go? It is the last Monday of every month, just like this one from 2 to 3. So our team here would like to thank you all for joining us, and have a great the rest of the afternoon, and stay safe. Thanks, everybody.